Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here's my Kuat NV2 rack, and funnily enough, this month it's been 2 years since we've had this rack. Let's talk about some of the things that we've experienced so you know what you can look forward to. Now, this is Southern Ontario, Canada, if you didn't know, Toronto. We have a lot of salt and we can get down to minus 30. We got down to minus 40 a few years ago. So typically it's minus 20s, really cold, and a lot of salt on the roads, okay? So today I'm gonna fix one thing, which is, if you look really closely here, you can see this powder coat blemish on this piece. The powder coating is coming off. Some of the things that we have had to change on this are, just so you know, and just so you know as well, this is a NV2 plus 1 because there are 3 of us that ride. So the idea is to accommodate three regular bikes, 3 skinnies, 3 fat bikes. This rack has done, this is by far and above one of the best racks I've ever used. Small issues that you deal with. Let's sort of start with where it started. First one was this ratchet. There is a mechanism inside that plastic that has teeth that grab in. On this bike, the ratchet, on this arm, the ratchet let go sometime late last year, early this year, and Kuat, to their word, warranty, they are amazing. These guys, I sent them a picture, I showed them, I explained what was going on. They had the part to me within days. So that's one company you can trust, okay? They stand behind their products. It was very quick to replace. Screw out, in, tighten up, you're done, and it works perfectly. Next thing to happen was on this flange, just like on this flange, that powder coat that we talked about had let go completely. It actually had flaked right off. So they were concerned that it was affecting the back wheel carrier and this lower support plate. So they've sent this, the flange, and this support plate. When I disassembled everything, I noticed that the problem was with just this flange. Exactly the same as what's happening with this one, except it was much more aggressive. If you look in here really closely, you can see the same thing with the powder coating starting to happen on this arm. That probably means that this piece is going to need to be replaced. Anyway, so that's one, that's the second thing with that powder coat issue. As per, because we ride fat bikes with studded tires, those studs are really sharp. If you look, I'm going to flip this over. If you look here, you can see how the studs are tearing up the wheel holder. And you know what? There's nothing that they can do about this. If you want to protect this holder on your from your fat bike studs, or if you have a skinny with studded tires, you're going to need to wrap this with some kind of rubber. Okay, like in a cheap inner tube, wrap it up, zip tie the 2 ends, and it'll protect this. Again, fat bike. These look really closely here, you can see that there's a protective piece of vinyl here, but the studs on the fat bikes tear right through it. Nothing you can do about that. You fat bike with studs, this is going to happen, right? What else? We added on the NV2, if you look at the back edge here, these are brake and indicator lights that we got from Princess Auto. There's another one over here. They wire in, come back down here, and go into the trailer plug so that you have brakes and indicator lights on the back edge of your rack when it's down. Something to be aware of: when this rack is up, it blocks your license plate. And there's been a discussion of late. People have been stopped and warned by police officers and ticketed occasionally for having obstructed plates. So you may want to find some way to get your plate back here. Kuat, on their new piston rack, has a license plate bracket that can fold up and down. So I'm looking into making something that may fit here for my own, or clamp in place. I don't know. let you know if I come up with something. One of the other things, one last thing that you're going to run into if you live in a northern state that uses a lot of salt is your locks are going to suffer. And I'm going to show you an example of how bad. Here's an old lock. Notice how it's completely rusted out. Look at the back end. Same problem. So the problem that we were having with these was during summer they're fine. You can spray these down with this anti-rust coatings, whatever you want. It makes no damn difference. There's just too much salt, and you can see all the salt and sand build up in here. Kuat replaced them. So I guess they consider this a warranty issue. I really appreciate that. And like I said, you use locks on any kind of locking system, on any rack that's exposed, you're not going to end up with anything but rust. So these are brand new. Let's see how long these last. Okay, so now let's change this out. And all you're going to need for that is this Allen key that they send along for assembling the rack, and the flange. There's the part number. Okay. So the trick with this is having an extra pair of hands always helps, because you have to undo this bolt and the bolt on this side. Separate these. Once you pull this off, this is what we're replacing with this. So let's get to it. Here are the instructions. They're pretty clear. And 2 sets of hands are really good, because when you start pulling these apart, they fall over. So having someone holding one side while you are holding the other side and undoing the bolts is a good thing. So there's somebody up.
There you go. Woohoo!
Up, don't lose that.
Nope.
So like I said, you want to see salt. This is what the inside of both of these look like. These guys are being difficult. Holy shit.
Fling off. Oof. Shit.
1, 2. I really put these in there. You see what the hell I'm dealing with here.
Easiest to do that.
If you come have a look at this, you can see this bolt is clean. This bolt is rusted. This bolt is rusted. This bolt is clean. Probably the reason for that is these are the upper bolts that sit when the rack is horizontal. These bolts, well, you can see the rust starting on this one, the corrosion. I won't call it rust. And if you look at these two, yep. So if you look at these, you can see the corrosion right here and here. These are 2 bottom ones. If you look in here, you can see how corroded these 2 areas are. And part of what's going on here is that this stuff is aluminum. And aluminum, when you see that white dust, that's aluminum.
2 hours later.
So this is a crown rust product designed to inhibit corrosion. Okay, it's also really good for lubrication, and it tends to break things free. So pull this little tab out. Give in here a good spray, and what'll happen, what we'll do is we're going to do the other side as well. But like I said, we really use this rack a lot in our summer and winter and in between riding. So there's no two ways about it that, you know, if you look at this bolt, you can see the salt sitting on it right here. This is just life in southern Ontario. A lot of corrosion, but it's very strange that there's so many dissimilar metals being used. And what that's doing, I think, is it's adding to the acceleration of the corrosion here. So it's just something that I guess Kuat is willing to support because the racks are so effective that they want people to buy them and use them.
They're easy to use too.
Correct, easy to use, no real struggle. One of the things I forgot to mention was that, see these little bumpers here? These are for some dollar store rubber slippers or bedroom slippers, because in this rack system, when you put your front wheel in here, that's it, you're in, and the only adjustment you can make with this is either up, level, or down by a couple of degrees. So what happens is my handlebars hit Pauline's handlebars, and my handlebars dig into her grips and basically destroy them. The handlebars on the back end here can touch seats. So the idea behind it is that you try to find the optimum positioning. You may have to put something here to lift your wheel slightly to get your seat up, or if you have a dropper, you lift the dropper so that, you know, it seats out to the way of the handlebars. So they're not perfect, but for us, they're pretty good, and that's my compromise. So that works for me. Surprisingly, there's nothing there. That's the new one, that's why.
Yeah, this is the new one.
That's the new
I
one.
was just gonna say the bolts look clean.
I'm gonna do is just. That's it. With that Allen key over there. Oh shit.
Oh, did it fall out the other side?
Alright, you got it there?
Yep.
And that's it. We're done. That's how you replace a flange. Make sure you've got a steel Allen key, because the one that comes with it has started to round off. This is looks like a 6mm Allen key, and steel. Even my socket set doesn't have millimeter size Allen key heads, so, but I happen to have one of these. So, like I was saying, Kuat makes a great rack. It works. You can get the 2+1 or 2+2, so you have a total of 4. You figure out the fit. We had to do some adjustments to make the bikes not bang into each other. There was not enough adjustment in the rack, so that's why those little bumpers are there. A little bit of corrosion, Southern Ontario, powder coating coming off. We have another one here that we're gonna have to get them to work on for us. But otherwise, that's it. That's why we like Kuat. As always, stress less, ride more, ride smart, ride safe. See you guys on the trails. Take care.